presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Manager Jeff Bannister has been doing a juggling act with the starting rotation since late June. He's hoping the return of Derek Holland will help stabilize the pitching staff. Derek takes the hill tonight in his home state, and he's hoping to impress family, friends, and especially Texas Ranger fans. The Rangers and the Cincinnati Reds match up next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by high-speed internet from AT&T. From the Queen City on the banks of the Ohio River, your Texas Rangers getting set for a two-game series very quickly against the Cincinnati Reds. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Tuesday night of Ranger baseball. Rangers trying to get out of the slump they got into in Tampa Bay, and they look tonight to rebound behind Derek Holland, who's making a very critical start.
It is a critical start, Buzz. The Rangers are looking for some pitchers to fill out the rotation. You want to finish strong, and it's going to be tough to do it just with the two guys at the top of the rotation. So Derek gets the start today. You might say, if you look at it on paper, well, he's going against a National League team that hasn't seen him very much and a team that's 18 games under 500. But these guys have some guys in the middle of the lineup who are all-star players. They've got 5 or 6 guys in the lineup that are hot right now. Billy Hamilton has stolen 31 bases in 34 games. They can score some runs, so this will not be an easy lineup for him to face.
You see Derek in 14 starts this season, 10 home runs allowed. That's something you have to keep in mind in this ballpark. Very conducive to home runs here. Derek trying to get off that 5-5 mark that he brings in this season. So hopefully, being back in his home state will spur Derek Holland onto a great outing here tonight against Cincinnati. We will take a break, and when we come back, John Radigan will talk more about Derek Holland. Back to Great American Ballpark right after this. West is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T High-Speed Internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. It's a beautiful evening here in Cincinnati, Ohio. About 81 or 82 degrees. Derek Holland from up the road here, about an hour and a half from Newark, Ohio, getting set to take on the Reds. And before we get underway, let's head down and check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, Buzz, Derek has made 4 starts in his native state, in Ohio. Of course, all of them have been in Cleveland, but he's got a 3-0 record with a 1.23 ERA in the state of Ohio. He hopes that continues tonight. He's glad to be pitching in Ohio, just glad to be back on the mound and healthy.
I'm definitely healthy. I feel strong. I feel good. I've been throwing my bullpens. Everything's been going the way we want it to. We're very happy with it. We've fixed a few things with the mechanical issues of just getting it to where, hopefully it keeps me out on the field the whole time. That's what we want. Obviously I'm just as frustrated as anybody else to land on the DL, but now we're past that. We got to keep this thing going and look forward to what's going up next.
Yeah. Lots of family and friends from Newark in town to watch Derek pitch tonight. Anywhere between 20 and 50 people here to cheer on their native son. And to talk to Derek's dad, Rick, he says he feels fine. His mom, though, is always nervous when her baby boy is out there on a major league mound. Derek Holland will be taking the mound very soon, and we'll be getting you ready next. It's the starting lineups in the first pitch for 1 of 2 against the Reds next.
Embark on a 2-game trip here to Cincinnati, and Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers batting order.
Well, you're looking at the leadoff hitter. That's Ian Desmond. Batting second will be Carlos Beltran. Batting third at third base is Adrian Beltre. Rougned Odor is the cleanup hitter tonight. Jonathan Lucroy will hit fifth. Mitch Moreland is at first, batting sixth. Nomar Mazara is in left field. Elvis is playing shortstop, batting eighth. And batting ninth in the National League ballpark will be the pitcher, Derek Holland.
And that lineup will face the 27-year-old right-hander Dan Straley. Straley bouncing around a lot, 3 different teams already this year if you go back to spring training. Fastball, slider, changeup. You'll remember him from his days with the Oakland A's, and he came up with them in 2012. He's been pitching as well as anybody on the Red staff since the All-Star break, 5-0, and the Rangers have good familiarity with him. But the good plan of attack will have to take precedent tonight. And Straley begins things by firing strike one to Ian Desmond. Ian Desmond, a .292 hitter, 20 home runs, 74 driven in. Lineup shuffled around a bit today because of the National League rules that has the pitcher hitting. So Desmond moving up a spot, as did almost everybody else in the order. 0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You saw on the scouting report on Dan Straley, the fastball slider, I call it a slider, he takes something off it quite often and makes it a curveball. Then a very good changeup from time to time. There's that harder variety of the breaking ball to the right-hander Desmond. It's 2-2 now. And Straley, as most guys that came up in that Oakland organization, or who have come up through the Oakland organization, understand the importance of throwing strikes, and he does that very well. 2-2 to Desmond. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Ian trying to get aboard to start things off here in the first inning. Carlos Beltran, the Ranger right fielder tonight, is in the on-deck circle. Straley's payoff pitch. Popped him up. Way up there out in front of home plate. Votto, the first baseman, coming down, making the call and the catch. And I'm sure you heard Joey Votto screaming, "I've got it." So that is out number 1. Desmond pops out. We'll take a look at the rest of the Reds defense. Duvall, Hamilton, and Schebler in the outfield, left, center, and right. Votto, you saw it first. Brandon Phillips, Jose Peraza up the middle with Eugenio Suarez down at third. And Trevor Barnhart is behind the plate. So 1 gone, and first pitch is a little bit low to Carlos Beltran. Beltran, in the midst of the longest slump that he's had as a Ranger. As a matter of fact, is only 1 at bat shy of his longest slump of the year. He's 0 for 7 or 0 for 16. Broken bat, roller foul, and Carlos going to have to get a new piece of lumber. Beltran, a .258 average as a Ranger.
I think I saw.
Couple of home runs, 9 driven in. Overall, including the time he has had with the Yankees, a .296 average. 24 and 72, the power numbers. Against the Reds, the last 16 ball games, he's been a .356 hitter with 9 extra base hits. That ball is hit high in the air to right field. Going back is Schebler. He is at the wall and waiting for it to come down, makes the catch.
In this ballpark, if you hit it in the air, you got a chance to hit it out to right field. He just got underneath that one. Otherwise, it would have been an easy home run. Had a pretty good pitch on the inside part of the plate to hit. Had a good swing. Just popped it up. It doesn't take much to get it out at that part of the ballpark.
That's about 360 feet to the wall right there, and Schebler about 3/4 of the way back on the warning track. Here's Beltran. He takes low for ball 1. Adrian, a .290 average with 21 home runs, 79 driven in. Having an outstanding trip. He was 6 for 13 in Tampa Bay. Had that .418 average over his last 14 games for Beltran. Dan Straley has mentioned the 5-0 mark since the All-Star break. Reds have won all 7 of his starts. This right-hander coming out of nowhere. He was with the Astros at the start of spring training. They traded him to the Padres the last week of camp, and then the Padres released him before the end of spring training, 4 days after they acquired him in a trade. And the Reds picked him up off the waiver wire. Slowly tapped out to short. Peraza up and throwing, and that'll do it. So 3 up, 3 down. Straley sends the Rangers down in order after a half inning. Rangers nothing. Reds coming up. The first time's going to tell you now about the Cincinnati Reds lineup.
Well, the hot Billy Hamilton is leading off. He's stolen 31 bases in his last 34 games. Jose Peraza bats second. Joey Votto is at first base, followed by the cleanup hitter Adam Duvall. Brandon Phillips is at second. In right field is Scott Schebler. Batting third, the third baseman Eugenio Suarez. The catcher is Tucker Barnhart. And batting ninth is the pitcher Dan Straley.
And Derek Holland going to work, and a line drive right back at him.
Hello, welcome back.
Way to charge that line drive, Derek. Nice play.
Wow. That might be the hardest ball Billy Hamilton's hit all year right there. That thing was smoked.
Wonder how much time you have when you're about 50 feet away from home plate. Watch this.
Wow. He's lucky that's where that was hit.
Yep.
That's right where his glove was. Wow.
Yeah, any place else, that glove does not react that quickly. But Holland able to make the play, so one pitch and one away. And I dare say an out that he will not forget for a while.
Derek's wishing that was the third out of the inning so he could go back in the dugout for a minute.
Jose Peraza takes a strike. Watch the reaction here. Oh, my goodness. Keep that thing off me. Oh. And Peraza shoots it out of the plate to the right. No balls and 2 strikes. Jose Peraza called up second day of August when the Reds sent Jay Bruce over to the Mets. Peraza came on as a replacement. A couple of Reds leaving the fold. Here's a base hit into center as Holland. Looked like he hung a breaking ball to Peraza. Peraza been swinging the bat well, so he's aboard with 1 out.
Yeah, really, Buzz, the Reds team, they're 18 games under 500, but right now they've got some guys that are hot. Hamilton's hot. You mentioned Peraza swinging the bat well. This pitch is up and out over the plate, and he rips that thing in left field. Joey Votto's the hottest hitter in baseball right now.
Yep.
Adam Duvall's an all-star. Brandon Phillips is a very good player hitting fifth. Suarez is hot. That's not an easy team to pitch to right now. You just can't look at them and say they're 18 games under 500. This is going to be an easy 2 games.
No, since the All-Star break, Cincinnati Reds are 21-14. That's the 3rd best mark in all of baseball.
There you go.
Cubs and Mariners.
Yep.
And Joey Votto, as you mentioned, Tom, this is the hottest thing going. A wave and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Votto, since the All-Star break, is hitting .447. That's a 4.47. On base percentage of .548. Getting on, he's getting base hits, driving in runs. Overall, Votto 72 RBI and 20 home runs. But you go back to the first month of the season, well, first 2 months. Through May, Votto had a batting average of .213. Was doing very little. On base percentage of .330. Now his overall on base percentage .433. In the air to center field. Desmond retreating, has room. 2 gone, and back to first goes Peraza.
Derek's got a couple of outs so far in this game, but he's given up 3 line shots. Votto reached for that ball and still stroked it 400 feet to center field.
Now you saw Desmond in center. The Rangers defense delivered to you tonight by DeMontron RV. Desmond flanked by Mazzara in left, Beltran in right. Moreland, Odor, Andrews, and Beltre. First, second, short, and third. And Jonathan Lucroy catching once again tonight, handling Derek Holland for the first time. Oh, 2 gone. Here is Adam Duvall, who is the team leader with 28 home runs. There goes Peraza. Pitch is inside. The throw not in time. Peraza got a huge jump against Holland, and Jonathan Lucroy had no chance to throw him out.
Yeah, that's one of those plays that I don't think it mattered if Lucroy dropped this ball 1 inch on top of the bag. I don't think he had time to get him.
Well, the Reds, Jose Peraza with his 11th stolen base of the year, now gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs. Oh, and 1. The count to Duvall. Sky to center field. Has been waiting for it to come down out of the milky overcast. Puts it away, and that'll do it. Reds get a hit, but strand a runner. We have played one at Great American Ballpark. Rangers and Reds scoreless. Show this Friday is presented by Takis. Head on out to Globe Life Park, see your Rangers take on the Cleveland Indians. A big matchup there. Then stick around to enjoy the post-game fireworks show set to John Williams' iconic score from Star Wars. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. Rougned Odor, Jonathan Lucroy, and Mitch Moreland, the first three to do the swinging against Dan Straley here in the second. Odor, a .273 average. He has had a moderate amount of success against Straley, 2 out of 6 in his career. High in the air, shallow right center. Hamilton and Shepler. It's the right fielder, Scott Shepler, to handle it. That is out number 1.
Well, talking to the Reds people, the high fastball has been a pitch that Straley has used very effectively in his hot streak, and he's had a lot of balls just like that. It's also a pitch that Rugi's had trouble with, that high fastball out of the strike zone, and so that's a combination that at least one at bat into the game has worked in Straley's favor.
Yeah, and people at home might be saying, well, I thought you're supposed to pitch low in the strike zone. You can't throw high. Well, you can pitch high if it's up high enough.
Yeah.
And you get guys to swing at it. I mean, I would think that's one of the tougher pitches to do much with, isn't it? Than a shoulder high fastball.
And especially when it's combined with a good breaking ball.
Lucroy takes a strike. It's 1-1.
And Straley's not a guy that's throwing 95 miles an hour. His fastball is, at least in this game, borderline average.
Now, whatever he's doing, he's going to continue to try and do it. He gets ahead of Jonathan Lucroy, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lucroy, a .264 average, 7 home runs, 14 driven in. He had Sunday off. That's the first game, or that's only the third game, I should say, that he's not participated in since coming over from the Milwaukee Brewers. Just a little bit low. That evens the count. Jonathan Lucroy, our TXU Energy Power player to watch tonight. Last 8 games against these Cincinnati Reds, Lucroy has hit .438. And that will go down just a little bit with a strikeout here. Straley gets his first, and there are 2 gone for Mitch Moreland.
Well, the Rangers, most of them have seen a lot of Straley, and at times he's pitched well against them. At times they've gotten to him a little bit. It's a little bit home run prone. But during this streak, he's had excellent command. In fact, he hasn't walked anybody in over 23 innings. Hasn't walked a right-hand hitter in about 85 or 86 at bats. So he's had pretty much pinpoint command. And even though you wouldn't characterize his stuff as dominating, his performance has been.
Pitch takes it low and outside. Yeah, the last time the Rangers saw Straley was back in June, back at Globe Life Park. They got to Straley for 4 runs in 6 innings. He kind of hurt himself in that job. Down to Votto. He will take it to the bag himself, and that 9-pitch inning sends the Rangers down in order. So Straley perfect through 2. 1.5 in the books. No score in Cincinnati. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. A very comfortable evening here in Cincinnati. Derek Holland getting set to go to work in the 2nd inning. Brandon Phillips to lead things off for the Reds, and he takes strike 1. Phillips, .284 average with 8 home runs and 50 RBI. He has been a mainstay for the Reds. Seems like forever. Check swing foul, 0-2. Brandon Phillips, his great career here in Cincinnati. Seen him amass better than 1,800 hits. 191 home runs and 193 steals as a second baseman. And out of play to the right. Well, Derek Holland, first start since back on June the 20th. Forced to be put on the disabled list a couple of days later, that shoulder inflammation. Another 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Good breaking ball there, and Holland rings up his first strikeout.
He got ahead with his fastball and then threw an excellent slider. Again, Phillips. Phillips is not a big strikeout guy. He's one of those guys that swings at a lot of pitches, hardly ever walks. He's only walked 18 times, but he's only struck out 56 times. He was just fooled by a pitch he hadn't seen before. From a pitcher he's not familiar with.
The one gone here is the right fielder, Scott Schebler. Schebler, a .205 hitter with 4 home runs and 18 RBI. Schebler also came up that day after the trade deadline on August the 2nd. Holland back to him. Up the middle, but that's right where the shortstop Elvis Andrus is positioned. 2 gone. No bases empty. Eugenio Suarez now will step up. Brian Price, the Reds skipper, making some changes. They switched out pitching coaches just about the time that this Cincinnati Red team turned things around pitching-wise. And Brian Price, of course, groomed as a pitching coach in his big league experience. Now the skipper here in Cincinnati. Suarez, .252 average, takes a strike. Now the change for the Reds. Mark Riggins was the pitching coach up until the 5th of July. Mac Jenkins was the bullpen coach, and Jenkins was elevated to the pitching coach. And since then, the Cincinnati team has started to do things well pitching-wise. Their 5th best ERA in baseball. Team has gone 23-17 since that point. Staff ERA has been just about half of what it was prior. 1-1 pitch from Holland. Suarez decidedly better against left-handers numbers-wise this year. 8 of his 19 home runs against southpaws. 2-2. Got him swinging. Holland got that fastball exactly where Jonathan Lucroy wanted it, and Holland gets a couple of strikeouts in the second. After 2 complete in Cincinnati, Reds and Rangers scoreless. Family. Sherry is Dave's sister, and she is out here enjoying the ball game tonight. Dave, of course, our Emmy Award-winning director. We thank Dave for all.
That made her smile.
Yeah. So they're talking about Dave.
I didn't know he was that good.
He's not, Sherry. We're just bumping him up. Just because you're here. Nomar Mazara leading off for the Rangers in the 3rd inning, and he takes strike 1. The Mazara, Andrews, and Holland. Bottom 3rd of the Ranger order to face Dan Straley.
They're taking a lot of fastballs for strikes against this guy. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm going to go up there and swing at the first pitch and try to get a fastball.
Loop down the left field line. That'll slice back into the seats. And it's still 0-2. Mazara, that .280 average, 14 home runs, 46 driven in. Rangers offensively didn't really have a good time in Tampa Bay. Kind of fell on hard times the last couple of days, especially. The Rangers 265 average in the last 6 games, but the run production has not been where they are accustomed to having it. Pulled sharply on the ground on 2 hops to Phillips. 1 gone. Well, with Elvis coming up, a reminder that Star Wars Weekend returns to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans of the game on Saturday will receive an Elvis Landrews Calrissian Star Wars bobblehead. That's courtesy of Takis. You don't have to smuggle your way across the galaxy in order to pick up one of the coolest bobbleheads of the year. Purchase your tickets today at TexasRangers.com to see the Indians take on your Rangers and take home this special collectible. Elvis a 295 average. And he takes just a little bit low for ball 1. Andrews 4 home runs, 52 RBI, having a very solid offensive season. 1-1. 4 out of 10 was Elvis in that 3-game swing to Tampa Bay. High chopper over the head of Suarez and into shallow left where it's picked off by the shortstop Peraza. And Elvis, the first Ranger to reach base. It's the first hit of the night.
Elvis is hitting 5 straight, 8 for his last 15 now, so he's got a good streak going. That ball right straight down on the ground and into short left field for a base hit.
Well, the Rangers used to see in Cincinnati in spring training down Goodyear, and that's the kind of hit you would see down there.
Yeah.
No, 1 on, 1 out. Eric Holland up there, and Holland already showing bunt. Takes strike 1. Derek 0 for 12 in his career swinging the bat, or not swinging the bat, depending on how you want to look at it.
He's thinking, now, how am I going to make the bat touch the ball right here?
Pops that bunt foul back to the screen. 0-2.
As many times as we see position players have a hard time bunting, it's just not fair to ever get on a pitcher for not being able to bunt, especially an American League pitcher who never practices.
Yeah, it's not nearly as easy as guys that are good bunters make it look.
No.
Holland again squaring and bunts it foul. That'll be a strikeout. No, second strikeout for Straley. Elvis still at first with 2 outs now. Back to the top of the order for Ian Desmond. And Desmond stepping to the plate. Let's send it back to Rick Renner for a Chevy game break. All right, Rick, thank you.
Good idea.
With all the metrics that are used now, I'm sure there'll be somebody there next time one of those 3 comes up. Desmond began things by working the count full and then popped up the 3-2 pitch. Popped out to Votto, the first baseman. Now, Ian, that 292 average. Desmond went 4 for 13 in the first 3 games of this trip. Into the hole, Peraza. The short way to Phillips, and that'll do it for the Rangers. No runs a hit, and 1 man left. After 2.5, Rangers nothing, Reds nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
Great American Ballpark. We welcome you back to Cincinnati. Jonathan Lucroy has played a lot here, so much so that during the pitchers meeting today, Doug Brocail let the catcher do the talking.
He's faced these guys a lot.
Yeah.
Instead of Doug Brocail giving the left-handed report on some of the more important hitters, I did my report. I have it in front of me. I let him talk. I think it reassures the guys that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He's seen Votto a ton. He's seen Phillips a ton. He's seen Duvall a ton. He's seen this whole lineup numerous times. So I let him do the talking. And he didn't skip a beat. So I know he did his homework, and I know that he knows what he's doing.
He has proven that he knows what he's doing, and Doug went on to tell me that yesterday the two of them met each other at one point coming in or out of the hotel, and Doug said, yeah, I got almost everything done. I've done almost all my homework. And on an off day, Lucroy said, yeah, me too. I've been working all day too. And Doug says the guy just never stops. He's relentless, as Brocail says, in preparation and getting ready, guys.
All right, John, yeah, great points. You can tell the guys that are in positions of preparation that have to be prepared, and Lucroy takes his job very seriously. It's not just show up at the ballpark and check out the lineup and say, well, this guy looks like A, B, or C. He's already got it planned out. Well, one out on that fly ball to Beltran off the bat of Tucker Barnhart. Now Dan Straley. Jonathan Lucroy reminding Derek Holland, hey, Straley's 0 for 39. Let's make sure and throw him a strike. 3-0.
Well, occasionally we'll talk about bad walks. This would be the ultimate bad walk. But he's walked twice this year.
Yeah.
He's 0 for 39 to begin his big league career. The big league record is 0 for 66. That's John Lester. Oh, he hit the ball.
Yep. Two hopper to Mitch.
He had struck out 32 out of 39 at bats. I guess 32 out of 41 plate appearances. So that qualifies as a grand slam for him.
Yeah, Brian Price might be saying, what are you doing swinging at a 3-1 pitch?
Yeah.
You got the take on until it's 3-3. But Derek can smile now that he came back and got Dan Straley.
I guess he would probably know he's 0 for 39.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
He's just glad that didn't dribble through to right field for a base hit.
So 2 up, 2 away. Holland now has retired 7 straight. Billy Hamilton hit the first pitch that he saw right back. He hit a rocket back at Derek Holland, and Holland gloved it on his right side.
Said, here, hit a curveball this time.
Yeah.
I want you to pull it. Don't hit it back at me. No fastballs away in this at bat.
Hamilton, the embodiment of a walk turns into a double, or a single turns into a double anytime he gets on base. He's hitting .313 since the All-Star break. It's fouled away. 0-2.
Yeah, he's gone from the embodiment of a guy who couldn't hit to a guy who's a really good hitter.
Yeah.
Fairly short sample, but if this continues in the next couple of years, if his on-base percentage stays where it is now, he's going to steal 100 bases in the next couple of years.
Got him swinging. Off-speed pitch down, and Holland, another 1-2-3 innings, now retired 9 straight Reds, and he has 3 strikeouts to boot. Well, no score after 3. Now let's go to Aaron Hardigan in our Rooms to Go lounge. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. Statue, one of many around Great American Ballpark. Great Johnny Bench. Hall of Fame catcher for the Reds low those many years ago. Carlos Beltran starting things off here for the Rangers, a 1-1 count. Beltran flied to deep right field his first time up. And he's now down in the count, 1-2.
Carol and Tina Pruitt of Rockwaller here at the game tonight, celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary. Thanks for being here. Saw a lot of Ranger fans walking around town, just like we do everywhere we go on the road nowadays.
And Beltran foul tips it into the glove of Barnhart. That is strikeout number 3 for Dan Straley. We talked about Dan Straley being very good since the All-Star break. Our Kubota Power Stats will focus on the numbers behind that. 5-0 with a 2.25 ERA. Opponents hitting just .215 against him. He has not walked a hitter in the last 25 2/3 innings. Straley tonight going right after Ranger hitters. Here's Adrian Beltre. He kind of got low bridged.
Well, watching Straley, Buzz, he looks like the same pitcher that we've seen with the A's over the years. He's just got better command and making better pitches right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Tom.
Which I guess is a great lesson to any pitcher. Not that it's a revolutionary thought in baseball.
No.
But to be able to throw the ball where you want to can get you a lot of outs. And you don't have to have dominating stuff to do it.
Straley came along the same time in the A's organization that A.J. Griffin did. As a matter of fact, they were co-minor league pitchers of the year in 2012. A couple of guys that can maneuver the baseball around the strike zone.
I think that's the one thing that'll get A.J. over the hump, is to be able to command his pitches like Straley is right now.
1-2 to Beltre. Up the ladder he goes, and Beltre can't climb on top of it. 2 gone on strikeouts.
And the Rangers are a little susceptible to the 2-strike high fastball. Generally, it doesn't bother Adrian that much because he usually hits it. That one was just even out of Adrian's zone right there. A few inches high out of the zone, no problem. That was just a little bit too high.
Now 2 up, 2 away. Here's Odor. Rugnet flied to right as he led off the second inning tonight. Foul outside the bag at first. 0-1. Rugnet very much in swing mode during this road trip in particular. He's just 2 for 13 in Tampa. But with 1 swing of the bat, he can get the Rangers on the board here. 1 ball and 1 strike. Odor with 23 home runs this year. His 22 home runs as a second baseman. Our 3rd most in Major League Baseball. Robinson Cano has 27 and Brian Dozier has 26. To right center field, that is going to fall for a base hit. Odor didn't get the best part of the bat on it, but he got it in the right spot. He is aboard with a 2-out single. Brings up Jonathan Lucroy.
A changeup that Ruggie hit off the end of the bat.
So, second Ranger hit of the night. Lucroy steps in having struck out his first time to the plate. Off speed, catches the inside corner. Lucroy, 7 home runs in the month of August. That's good for 5th in the American League. His ranks among catchers still among the tops in all of Major League Baseball. High in the air to just past the skin of the infield. Brandon Phillips, a step into the outfield grass, and that'll do it. Rangers get a 2-out single from Odor, but stranded. After 3.5, we are scoreless in Cincinnati. Of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. David Price with the Red Sox, 8 scoreless innings with 2 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Rays were down by the Red Sox 6-2 last night. Red Sox now tied for the lead in the American League East with the Blue Jays. Meanwhile, Mark Trumbo of the Orioles, 38 home runs this year, leads Major League Baseball. 7 of his last 8 hits have been home runs. Orioles 2 games back as Buck Showalter's club struggling of late. They have fallen 2 off the pace with the Red Sox and Blue Jays playing well. Jose Peraza is starting off the 4th inning for the Reds. He nubs that foul from Holland. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Peraza has the only hit tonight off Holland. That was a 1-out single in the first. He swiped second, but was stranded there as Holland got both Votto and Duvall. Peraza with that base hit, now a .308 average. Right center field, Desmond on the run in the alley, and he able to run it down just as he steps out of the cinders. Good jump by Desmond. That ball kind of slicing away from him, but Ian with very good speed able to track it down for out number 1.
And so far, this is a little bit different game than the one the Reds played yesterday.
Yeah.
That was an 18-9 game. The Dodgers hit 7 home runs. 3 times they hit back-to-back home runs in that game.
Adrian Gonzalez had a 3 home run day.
3 of them.
Wow. Here's Votto.
Reds scored 9 runs, got 14 or 15 hits, and got beat by 9 runs. So they stayed hot with the bat. They just couldn't get anybody out yesterday.
Votto pokes one to left. That's going to fall for a base hit.
That looked like Ichiro hit it.
And Votto, after a big turn, has to hold on as Mazzara gets to the ball rather quickly. No, Votto 1 for 2 now. That little looper of a base hit.
That's a good, well-located pitch down and away. Votto is not a guy known for those kind of hits.
No.
That guy can hit, period. About a 310, 312 hitter in his career. Been an MVP.
2010 was when Votto won that National League MVP. Here's Adam Duvall. 0-1. Duvall skied to center back in the first inning. Duvall voted to the All-Star team by the players vote this year. Outside corner.
Back-to-back changeups.
0-2.
Yeah. Looks like Lucroy is going to work with Holland and make him throw his changeup.
Yep.
A lot like Martin Perez did the last 2 times he caught him.
Got him swinging.
And then a breaking ball. No fastballs for you, that bad Duval.
No, 4 strikeouts for Holland now, 2 away with Bono still at first. Brandon Phillips coming up.
Yeah, I have to think for a guy like Jonathan Lucroy, who it seems like every time we hear someone talk about him, they talk about how hard he works and how much he prepares for the game. It's got to be very satisfying to him when he sees all those pitches working and the hitters missing them, because he's the one calling, he's the one that studied it.
Well, I think it's got to be satisfying for him to see a guy like Holland. Now, this is the first time they've worked together. Martin Perez more so. That the stuff is there. You know it. And hadn't been able to bring it out lately. That's going to be trouble as Beltran coming on, can't get it. Falls for a hit. Now being waved around third comes Votto. The throw to the plate. They've got him from here to Columbus. He is shot down as he was ready to stop at third. And no going.
That turned out to be a great throw.
Rangers get it to work very nicely for them. So the base hit. And then the strong throw from right field for the out at the plate. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left after 4. No score.
Great American ballpark. All those Texans that Tom talked about asked me, where do you go to eat here? And I told a lot of them, Skyline Chili is the place that you have to go. I went to this place today. 1949, they started making chili at Skyline Chili. Now, it's a lot different than Texas chili. They've got the 3-way. That's got spaghetti noodles, chili, and cheese. The 4-way, they add onions. And in the 5-way, the cooks right there add beans as well as onions, cheese, chili, and the spaghetti. But it's actually... Don't expect it to be just like Texas chili, but it's very, very good as you put all those different things on top of one another. You can put that chili on almost anything. Fries, hot dogs. There you see our display of the different foods we had, and it was really good on all of them. Now, they don't always, not every single time do they automatically put a bib on people, even though this is a pretty messy food dish. But when they saw me coming, they immediately just went straight to the bib. They're like, you know what? We can tell you're a guy that needs a bib. So Skyline Chili, I've had my first batch of it. Different, way different than Texas chili, guys, but it's really good.
They definitely don't lighten up on the cheese, do they?
No, they love their cheese.
Very good, John. Skyline Chili, okay. All right.
That's different. Chili on spaghetti.
Yeah.
Why not?
Now Mitch Moreland leading things off for the Rangers. Down on the count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Mitch rounded out to first, his first time up. Rangers with 2 hits. The Reds with 3. Changeup floats outside. 2-2 now to Moreland. Mitch had a big pinch hit RBI single on Sunday. Slicing down the left field line, long run for Duvall into the corner, and it is foul. Duvall shading over toward left center field. He had a good 120 feet to go and couldn't get there in time. And 4 feet foul or so. Now Mitch back to the batter's box. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Three and 2. Now Mitch trying to get aboard to start this Ranger 5th inning. He'll be followed by Nomar Mazara, the left fielder. Rangers have the 2 hits. And the only base runners they have had tonight. Elvis had a base hit in the 3rd, and Rougned Odor had one in the 4th. Payoff pitch on the way. And we'll try it again. Straley again pulling the string.
Well, we're talking about Straley and how well he's pitching. You know, with nice stuff, not dominating stuff, but really good command. The other thing he's doing that's pretty obvious, he'll throw any pitch at any time.
Yep.
You can't get locked into a fastball. He's got a good slider, good changeup. He throws them when he's behind in the count. Another nice attribute to have if you want to pitch well.
This is one of the longer at-bats the Rangers have had against him tonight. This will be the 9th pitch coming up to Moreland. Inside, he took it for ball 4. A good job by Mitch to lay off that back foot breaking ball. So there's the first walk of the night.
First
a
walk.
leadoff walk. See if the Rangers can capitalize.
First walk for Straley in almost 27 innings. That's probably one of the reasons he doesn't get walks, is because he'll throw that slider on 3 and 2 and get the guy to swing at it. But Mitch laid off at that time. Good job by Mitch. Mitch has been swinging the bat well, and I think the better you're feeling at the plate, the better you're swinging at the bat, the better chance you've got of laying off that pitch, not being over anxious.
Now here's Mazara, who grounded out to second as he led off the 3rd inning tonight. That ball's hit well to left center field. Duvall going back at the track. He gets turned around but recovers in time to make the catch. Moreland was all the way to second. He has to retrace his steps very quickly. That is a long out, number 1, and Mazara gave that a pretty good ride.
That's a 3rd straight changeup that he's thrown, Mazara. He threw him 2 his last time up, and he had a hard ground ball to second base and waited on it pretty well. Even though he's out in front of that a little bit, he still hit it solidly. Didn't quite get it, though.
Now Duvall kind of got turned every which way but loose out there, but still made the catch. No, that's all that's important, right?
Yep, make it go in your glove.
Now here's Elvis, who had the chopped a base hit over the head of Suarez, the 3rd baseman, his first time. So Elvis now a .297 average. He's extended his hitting streak to 5 consecutive ball games. Moreland at first, 1 out here in the Ranger 5th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, from side to side, the Rangers have been pretty disciplined against Straley tonight. Where the one area they haven't been able to lay off has been that high fastball.
Yeah.
He's gotten 2 strikes on him. But as far as making him get the ball in the strike zone from side to side, they have. 1 and 2 now.
It's a nice story for Straley, who was pretty good for the A's in 2013. He had a nice ERA. He was 10-8, 150, 160 innings. Then he was up and down with the Cubs and the A's in 2014. Pitched in AAA almost all of last season with Houston. Got released, picked up on waivers before the season started this year. Now he's the best pitcher on the Red staff. So how do you figure that out? But more power to him.
Yep.
He's made it work.
testament to his perseverance.
Absolutely.
Well, Elvis fouled off a couple of pitches. Still has a 1-2 count on him. Australia look over his shoulder at Moreland, who's inching off the bag at first. Elvis waiting. The 1-2 again. And that's pop foul back into the seats. Nice evening here at Great American Ballpark. The park opened in 2003. Seats just shy of 43,000. Very picturesque. Right on the banks of the Ohio River.
Like a lot of the cities, they've got their football stadium right nearby. Nice downtown area.
Two and two. Yeah, it's a $5 cab ride from here or so, right down the river.
Yeah.
Probably swim down there, I guess, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Barnhart flashing the signs out for Straley.
I think I prefer the cab myself.
Cab?
Yeah. I'm not too confident in my swimming nowadays.
3 and 2.
There they
you
are.
go.
That's a beautiful setting.
Downtown Cincinnati on the right, Kentucky across the river on the left, Newport over there. Nice complex down here. So 3 and 2 with 1 out. There goes Mitch. Pitch is lined to center field. Hamilton has a play as he retreats. And Moreland picked up the ball, so he knew where it was, and he is scampering back to first. That's out number 2, and Derek Holland coming up. The Fans Country music artist Scotty McCreery will be performing a post-game concert this Saturday. It's presented by Budweiser. He wants the Rangers take on the Cleveland Indians and then enjoy the concert after the ball game. To buy tickets for the game or to get your field passes for the concert, visit TexasRangers.com/concerts.
I remember when Scotty McCreery performed for the first time on American Idol. And he came out and he started singing, and it looked like he was lip syncing somebody else. He had that low voice.
Yeah.
And he even surprised the judges when they heard him. He went on to win that competition. He was great.
He used that as a stepping stone to a pretty good career so far.
Sure has.
0-2 to Holland. Derek bunted into a strikeout his first time up. And a chopper over Votto into right field, a base hit. Moreland will continue on around to third. Oh, there's the first major league hit for Derek Holland.
He's not going 0 for 39.
How about that? 13 tries, and Derek Holland gets his first base hit.
See, he was smiling when he swung and missed at the pitch before it. Now he's trying to act like he knew what he was doing and got a base hit. That's the second hit the Rangers have gotten like that. Elvis had one over third, too. Rudy loves that.
No, Holland keeps the inning going. Let's see now if the Rangers can capitalize on this. They got the leadoff walk to Moreland. Mitch now around at third. Ian Desmond with his third time to the plate. 0 for 2 though thus far. 1 ball, no strikes. Desmond has popped out, grounded out tonight. Ian has that 7-game hitting streak on the line here this evening. He's been a .333 hitter over that last week of play. 2 balls, no strikes. So Dan Straley trying to work around the leadoff walk and the 2-out single to his opposite number, Derek Holland. Desmond in a hitter's count at 2-0. Whole right side of the infield wide open for him. 2-1. Brandon Phillips, the second baseman, favoring the middle of the diamond. And we have seen Ian Desmond, especially in the last couple of weeks, start to drive the ball that way.
I listened to you talk about Desmond hitting the ball to right field one day, and about the next pitch after you said that, he lined a shot into right field for a base hit.
And like that. Deep down the line in right, up against the wall. It is a foul ball.
Boy, that looked fair from here. Not fair because I couldn't see it land, but off the bat, it looked like it was going to be an extra base hit for sure. Sliced into the corner and just went foul.
Dan Iasonia down there taking a look at it. Steve Buechele on the phone to the video review folks. Bobby Jones and Adam Brenner up there. Our best look, we don't have a shot right down the line. It looks like it just missed by maybe a foot of hitting that yellow mark. And Jeff Bannister waving to Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, said, go ahead. We don't have enough to issue a challenge here. So 2-2 to Desmond. Holland back to first. Moreland at third. Fly ball, shallow right. Shebler coming on, makes the catch. That will do it. The Rangers came agonizingly close to getting on the board. They get a walk and a hit, but Strand two. Halfway through the ball game, we are still scoreless. On Thursday to take on the Cleveland Indians. Big 4-game series against the Tribe. And on Thursday, Papa John's Throwback Thursday Collector's Pin. And on Friday night, it'll be a post-game fireworks show presented by Takis. Then Saturday night, Elvis Landrews Calrissian bobblehead for the giveaway. And after the ball game, Scotty McCreery with a post-game concert presented by Budweiser. And then wrapping up the weekend on Sunday, Rangers poster, Star Wars weekend poster presented by Takis. And then for King and Country in a post-game concert. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Call 972-RANGERS. It's going to be a big weekend. The Tribe, best record now by percentage points over the Rangers in the American League. They are playing some good baseball in a very critical 4-game series starting on Thursday. But first, the Rangers have some work to do here in Cincinnati. A scoreless game as the Reds come to bat in the 5th inning. And Holland misses outside to Scott Shebler. Shebler rounded out to second. Back in the second. Up the middle, but again, that's right where Elvis is positioned. One gone. Oh, one away. Eugenio Suarez will be the next Reds hitter, but as he steps to the plate, let's send it back to Rick Renner for a Chevy game break. All right, Rick, thank you. Now Derek Holland getting set to work to Suarez. Eugenio Suarez takes down at his shoe top for ball one. Holland struck out Suarez back in the second. Derek has punched out 4 in the first 4 innings. He's allowed just the 2 base hits, both singles. Changeup floats in. 1-1. Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire tonight. Balkan Bob Davidson, as he is fondly known around the major leagues. Veteran umpire, and has been known to be a little bit lenient for the pitchers. Gives a little extra here and there from time to time, too. The 2-1 to Suarez. Ripped down the left field line. It's hooking and goes foul. About 15 feet foul as it whistled by the pole.
Suarez was a pretty nice pickup. Came over from the Tigers for Alfredo Simon. He's hit .330 in his last 31 games. He's young. He's only 24, 25 years old. Had a nice season last year. Less than 400 at bats. Hit .280. Hit some home runs. And hit 20-plus home runs this year. Knocked in 70 runs. And you got a guy that looks like he might be a pretty successful player for the Reds down the road.
Holland's payoff pitch. And we'll try it again.
Good fastball, 93 miles an hour from Derek.
Yeah, the kind of outing I'm sure that Derek was hoping to have, where he gained confidence going on each inning that he successfully navigates.
I think the thing that helped him pitch into the 5th inning.
Deep into the left field corner, Mazzara, just in fair territory, has room for out number 2.
Helped him pitch into the 5th inning and saved his confidence was that line shot that Billy Hamilton hit back at him on the first pitch.
Yeah, keeping that pitch count down. He has been able to get ahead of hitters very consistently. 11 pitches, the most he has thrown in any one inning. A couple of 10s and 9-pitch 4th inning, helping him out. That total still below 50, and he's working with 2 outs in the 5th. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, hit a fly ball to right his first time. Line drive, and Elvis able to get a jump on it, makes the catch. That'll do it. Another 1-2-3 inning. Reds gone in order. We have finished 5 from Ohio. Rangers nothing, Reds nothing. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is $300 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. The Ranger hits a home run during this inning. Sally Beckner from Sunset, Texas will win $300. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam, well, Sally's going to win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. all the folks up there in Wise County around Sunset. Pull up a chair and see if they can win you $300 or maybe $25,000 tonight. Like your chances, Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre, and Rougned Odor, the first three Rangers, here in the 6th inning. Beltran, a fly ball to right and a strikeout. Talked about the low number of pitches for Derek Holland, and Dan Straley had a long inning. There's a drive to deep left center field, slicing away from Hamilton. He dives, and did he catch that? You've got to be kidding me. What a play by Billy Hamilton.
He just outran that ball. That ball was actually closer to the left fielder than it was to him, and it was slicing away from him. He went back and then kind of came across on the warning track and sprinted with sprinter speed and just runs this ball down. Watch how far he goes compared to Duvall. Boy, those last 5 or 6 steps, he was getting after it, boy.
That is some kind of defensive play. Yeah, Dan Straley, you better applaud for him.
Hey, what am I supposed to do? I think the only thing he can do now is hit over the fence where he can't catch it.
Yeah, and he might do that.
Well, he might jump up anyway.
No, one gone. You won't see a better defensive play in a baseball game. Adrian Beltre takes inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Beltre tonight is grounded to short and struck out. Adrian at 289 with the average. 3-0. Straley, 26 pitches last inning. And maybe this inning it'll kind of creep up and bite him on the backside. And he loses Beltre. That's a 4-pitch walk. His second walk, but the first one where he just missed pretty badly with some pitches. Here's that 26-pitch 5th inning. We'll see what the carryover effect has beyond Beltre's walk.
We mentioned coming into the game he hadn't walked anybody in 22 2/3. Then he walked Mitch last inning. He hadn't walked a right-hand hitter in over 90 or 95 plate appearances, and now he's walked Beltre. I got a good feeling about this at bat. Yep.
Okay. Now, Odor's 1 out of 2 tonight. He had a base hit to right center field his last time.
Oh, yeah, that's why I had the good feeling.
Yeah. You should have had a good feeling about that.
I think Ruby had a pretty good feeling when he saw this pitch, too. He just didn't connect on it. That's right down Broadway.
Sure is.
That ball could easily have gone about 400 feet.
0-1 to Odor.
That's what he's got to lay off of right there. He can increase his batting average by 10 points immediately in a month if he lays off that pitch. But, you know, part of it, that's who he is. He's never going to walk 70 or 80 times. He's a free swinger, and you know, people always used to say about Juan Gonzalez, why does he keep swinging to that slider outside and low? Well, that's who he is. That's how he gets his bat started. He starts a little soon, and he's susceptible to that pitch. But in the meantime, are you happy with the 40 home runs and 130 runs batted in and the MVP award?
Yeah, there's the analytics stat of the day for you. The fewest pitches seen per plate appearance in Odor at 3.39. Next closest, you know, Escobar with the Angels at 3.41. Amazing on that chart. Almost every one of them's hit right around 300. Seemed like. 1-2 to Odor. He was able to go up and get a piece of that high fastball. Rougned putting together some pretty good streaks now. The last 30 ball games or so, he's hit almost 290. Got Beltre at first, 1 out here in the Rangers' 6th inning. Scoreless ball game. Got him swinging. Got that pitch in under his hands, and that is strikeout number 5 for Straley. 2 gone.
That almost looked more like a cut fastball than a slider, but it cuts in a little bit, stays up and on the inside part of the plate. Pretty good pitch.
So it'll be up to Jonathan Lucroy now to see if he can't extend this inning. Lucroy has struck out and popped out. 0 for 2 tonight. Season average between Milwaukee and Texas, 293. Oh and 1. Lucroy making his 94th start of the year behind the plate. Remember, Jonathan last year bothered the last 6 weeks or so. Got out of the lineup, had some back issues. Not so this year. The 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Lucroy with the numbers as a catcher this year. He is first in on base plus slugging, 925 for active catchers. First in slugging at 554. Second with 20 home runs. And also second with 63 RBI. 2-2. Iglesias, hard throwing right-hander, loosening in that Cincinnati bullpen. Dan Straley reading the signs, getting ready for his 91st pitch of the night. Lucroy waiting. Straley sets. Right-hander talked himself out of that one. He was ready to throw the pitch that they decided on and had second thoughts about it just as he got set. And I better back off here. Let's run through those signs one more time. Popped up down the right side. Votto and Phillips. Votto next to the tarp. And the ball back in the first row. He couldn't reach in to grab that. He disgustedly smacks his glove with his right hand.
Yeah, I think he felt that was a catchable ball, and it probably was. He just kind of took a little bit of a roundabout route to the ball. I think he had the ability to get there a little quicker, reach in and catch it. Fan didn't get in his way. Might have gotten in his way if he was really ready to catch it, though.
Yeah. No, still 2-2 with 2 out. Adrian Beltre, the Ranger base runner at first. Jonathan Lucroy digging in, ready to go. Another foul back. Straley's starting to get pitches more toward the middle of the strike zone than he wasn't earlier in the game, which, you know, you get up to 92, 95 pitches and you start being not quite as sharp. Yeah, the Rangers can take advantage. That one hung inside so badly that Jonathan Lucroy kind of fighting it off so it wouldn't hit him. Barnhart and Straley going to talk about what they want to try and do on another 2-2 pitch. Long at bat. Straley got to figure out something to work with the 8th pitch of this at bat to Lucroy. So he decided to try and come inside. I don't think that was by design. I think that was a slider that just backed up on him. Everything else has been away. Now the right-hander's ready to go. Ripped on the caught by Suarez. One step to his left. That ball almost took him into left field. Well, a rocket off the bat of Lucroy, but it goes for naught. Rangers strand a runner. After 5.5, Rangers nothing and the Reds nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. And upper level seating sections for August 29th through the 31st. Plus, you can take 20% off Rangers red merchandise at Globe Life Park retail stores through August 31st. You pack the park and wear your red as the Rangers battle the Seattle Mariners to defend first place in the AL West. Come on out and let's show them there in Texas. Wednesday's matinee game also features dollar hot dog. That's courtesy of Texas Chili Company. Now Derek Holland back out to work this 6th inning. He will not face his opposite number, Dan Straley. He's being removed for a pinch hitter. Right-handed hitting Tyler Holt, outfielder by trade, takes outside for ball 1. And Holt finished up the game for the Reds yesterday on the mound. Worked a 5-pitch 9th inning against the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers were kind of worn out. They already scored 18 runs in 8 innings.
Well, Holt's had a lot of pinch hit opportunities this year. He's 4 for 34.
Overall, that average at 216 with 8 RBI. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And some more off speed.
I'd say it's some of the better off speed selections Derek has featured this year for the Rangers.
Yeah, that changeup was almost non-existent before he got hurt.
Yeah.
He kind of went away from that. It was basically fastball slider.
It's been a weapon tonight.
Yeah. Now the 1-2 to Holt. Laid off that pitch down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Derek just 54 pitches at this juncture of the ball game. And very, very good command-wise. He and Jonathan Lucroy have done a super job of mixing speeds, mixing locations. Little nubber, that's going to stay in foul territory, though. And the count remains even at 2-2. Holt making his way back to the batter's box. Holt in his last 6 ball games has had 13 at bats. He's gone 4 for 13. 308 average, an uptick from where he had been. Now Holland to the wind, another 2-2. Full count. Well, Derek has not walked a hitter, and this would not be a good time to walk the pinch hitter Holt. You've got the top of the order and Billy Hamilton looming in that on-deck circle. Payoff pitch on the way. Now it's going to be at least an 8-pitch at bat now for Holland against Holt. Infield plays Holt just about straight away. Odor, the second baseman, may shade a step or so up the middle. Outfield, see Ian Desmond over in right center a few steps. Another 3-2 popped up. That will go over the Reds' dugout on the first base side. And we will have at least a ninth pitch of this at bat. Holland has allowed the 2 base hits, 1 in the first inning, 1 in the 4th inning. Excuse me, he allowed 3 base hits, and he gets 2 of them, 1 in the 4th inning, a single and a double. Lost him. Fastball sailed high, and Holt is aboard to start things off. And as Billy Hamilton makes his way to the plate, let's check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, Buzz, chatted with Derek Holland's dad today. Rick was here. Of course, they proudly proclaim they've moved to Texas. They are full-fledged Texans, but they flew back up to their home, Newark, Ohio, to come in and watch Derek and some family and friends together. There's as many as 50 from the Newark area who made the trip here, about an hour and a half to Cincinnati. And, you know, I asked Rick, are you still nervous when you watch him pitch? He said, not really. He said, my wife now, she'll move all around, and I think almost every time he pitches, she feels like she needs to throw up. So that hasn't left her yet. He says, though, Rick says, I still can't believe my son is pitching on a major league mound. I mean, he's just like, it's like a pinch me moment every time he's out there. So that's what Rick is feeling in the stands tonight, guys.
Oh, good. Thank you, John. Yeah.
Well, you know, coming out of high school, it wasn't like Derek was a highly recruited pitcher or a #1 draft choice. He kind of snuck up on everybody. Got bigger, stronger, got an opportunity. All of a sudden, he's throwing in the 90s, and he's left-handed, and he becomes a big prospect for the Rangers. So it's probably one of those things you couldn't see it coming when he was a little kid.
Hamilton, a good bunt. Moreland throwing to Odor, and it is not in time. Hamilton able to beat out the sacrifice attempt. Boy, that's what speed does for you.
We saw Delino DeShields do that a number of times for the Rangers. Have seen it a number of times. You could tell that was going to be a very tough play to get him before he got to first base. Looks safe from here, but
yeah,
we'll see what the replay shows.
They're going to issue the challenge here.
I really couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, I think, to overturn that. And that's one of those deals where whatever it's called on the field is going to be tough to overturn. And Steve Buechele and Jeff Bannister going ahead and rolling the dice here. You've got Dale Scott, the crew chief, on the right there, and the first base umpire, Dan Iasonia, who made the call. And the headsets on. They are hooked up with the replay command center. This challenge brought to you by Ford. And here's what they're going to have a look at. That play is a tough one there. Oh, the call is overturned. I'm going to say Billy Hamilton out on the play at first. They had to have had an angle other than what we saw, because I couldn't see the ball.
And they didn't take much time at all to make that call.
That's a sacrifice. Goes 3-4 on the put out at first. Hamilton retired, but into scoring position. Holt out there at second.
Well, that's a place, an example of why you're really happy to have Mitch Moreland at first base, because he fielded it calmly. He's left-handed, made the throw easier, and made an accurate throw.
Yeah, Mitch, the top fielding first baseman in the American League. Yeah, certainly one of the tops in baseball.
He can make all the plays.
So 1 out now. Jose Peraza out there at second. 0-1 is the, or I should say, Jose Peraza at the plate. 0-1 the count to him.
Billy Hatcher's the third base coach. Billy Hamilton reached 22 miles an hour going to first base that time.
If he had another 5 yards, he probably would have gone to 24.
Probably, yeah. It's probably getting higher as he went. I wonder how fast Usain Bolt goes.
They had a
75, 80?
Yeah, right. Breaks the speed limit. They said the last 40 meters are faster than his first 30.
Huh. He's picking up speed.
Yeah.
While others are slowing down a little bit.
Right.
That guy's
oh, that's incredible.
I'd love to watch him play another sport. Probably can't play catch though.
6'5" and whatever he is, 215 pounds, 220. 0-2 is the count to Peraza. Shallow right center. Mazzara, Elvis going out. Mazzara calling him off. 2 gone. And that'll bring up Joey Votto. Yeah, I think if you had Usain Bolt in the NFL, you could throw the ball as high as you could, as far as you could.
Like Bob Hayes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we will see now what Eric Holland and Jonathan Lucroy do with Joey Votto. Votto had a soft single to the left his last time up. And I know there's a right-hander, Adam Duvall, in the on-deck circle. I still would want to be extremely careful here with Votto.
Yeah, there's probably not many players, I was going to say guys hitting the middle of the lineup, but anywhere, who choke up as much as Joey Votto's choking up on that bat. Barry Bonds used to choke up a little bit. But Votto's choked up at least an inch and maybe more, which for bat control is a great lesson for a lot of young hitters that may think the farther down the bat you hold it, keep a finger off like Julio Franco used to do, the more power you're going to have, the better hitter. Well, here's one of the best hitters ever, and look how much he's choking up. He's not worried about hitting it 500 feet. He's worried about hitting a line drive somewhere with a short, quick stroke. And choking up gives you better bat control, lets you wait a little bit longer, and makes your bat a little bit quicker.
And that's one big reason why he's hitting almost 450 since the All-Star break.
Yeah, it's not like you can point to a 240 hitter. He's pointing to a lifetime 310, 315 hitter.
1-2 pitch, just a little bit low. Holland trying to hit that inside corner. Some more analytics. Bonus stat of the day. Joey Votto, a 325 average on low pitches. That's 5th in the major leagues. Walk percentage at 17.5 is 2nd. 4 1/3 pitches per plate appearance. That's 5th. Chase rate, doesn't chase very much. 4th lowest.
His walks are why, since he came into baseball back in 2007, he leads the major leagues in on-base percentage. He hits for average and he walks. If you're holding the bat down in the end, that would have been a tough pitch to even foul off right there.
Yeah.
That was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball up and in. And you have to think the bat control, choking up on it, let him be a little quicker and able to foul that pitch off.
Now 2-2 the count.
He's not using a 38-inch bat either. That's a normal-sized bat.
He's just off the outside corner. The count is full. You got to give Derek Holland a lot of credit in this about. He has not thrown the ball in the middle of the strike zone, and that's critical. You can go after it, but you got to be smart about it. You saw the on-deck hitter Adam Duvall. Joey Votto with the full count. See what Holland and Lucroy come up with for this 3-2 pitch. Line drive right field. That's going to fall for the base hit. Holt coming around, the throw not in time. And Votto gets the RBI. The Reds on the board. They lead 1-0. Joey Votto drives in his 73rd run of the year.
Well, they're trying to throw him a fastball in, and maybe a slider on the inside corner. It's not a terrible pitch, and he doesn't hit it all that hard, but he got enough of the bat on it to loop it in front of Carlos in right field.
Well, the leadoff walk comes back to haunt Derek Holland. Holt comes around to score, the only run of the game so far. And here's Adam Duvall, who is 0 for 2. Duvall has flied to center and struck out.
Kind of surprised to see Joey Votto on first base after the throw went over the cutoff man's head all the way to the plate like that.
I think he became a cheerleader and a spectator over there at first.
I think so too.
No balls and a strike. Holland leaning in for the sign. 0-2.
Votto was just kind of trotting as he got to first base, and then it was too late to go after he saw the throw his eye. That's one where you sprint all the way and take a big turn and then see it. You can go to second base and be in scoring position.
And down on strikes for the second time tonight is Adam Duvall. But Reds get on the board. They get a run on a hit and leave one. After 6, it's the Reds 1, the Rangers 0 on Fox Sports Southwest. Game summary. A lot of good pitching here tonight. Dan Straley for the Reds. 6 innings. Shutout baseball on just 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Meanwhile, his mound opponent, Derek Holland, almost as good. Just 1 run on 4 hits in 6 innings of work. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. That 1 walk, however, proved to be the undoing of Derek Holland, as that Tyler Holt, who pinch hit and walked to lead off the 6th inning, scored on Joey Votto's 2-out single. And that's the only scoring thus far. Raisel Iglesias, now the hard-throwing right-hander, is on to take over. So Dan Straley, 6 innings of work, shutout ball for the Reds. And he gives way to Iglesias. 24th appearance of the year for the right-hander, 1-1. That ERA of 2.12. Opponent's just hitting 2.13, and he faces Mitch Moreland to start off the 7th inning. The The numbers on Iglesias again. Moreland pokes one through the shift into right field, a base hit. Well, Mitch again on base to lead off an inning. His walk led off the 5th. He got as far as 3rd, but that was it. And the Rangers have a little better luck. Tyler Holt remains in the ball game and takes over in left field. So Adam Duvall out of the ball game. Iglesias, the pitcher, hitting in the number 4 slot, with Holt batting 9th.
Iglesias is from Cuba. He signed a 7-year contract a couple years ago. Was a starting pitcher for Cincinnati last year. Pitching out of the bullpen now.
Here's Nomar Mazara. He takes strike 1.
He had a few starts this year for Cincinnati.
Well, we go back to that July 5th cutoff date. Bullpen ERA, and Cincinnati 4th best in baseball. That much improved pitching staff. Pulled foul, and the count goes to 0-2. And for the Reds, that's the cutoff date. That was the day after they changed pitching coaches. Mark Riggins was out. Mac Jenkins, who was the bullpen coach, elevated to the full-time pitching coach. Before yesterday, the bullpen's ERA was 2.55 in 38 games from the 5th through yesterday. And of course, that output by the Dodgers, 18 runs yesterday, a lot of those to the bullpen, kind of skewed things to the negative. But bullpen prior to that, 2nd best in the major leagues. Mazara down in the count, 0-2. He has grounded out to 2nd, fly to left field. Hits are even at 4 tonight. And there's a base hit to left field. Moreland will stop at 2nd. Oh, Nomar Mazara taking the pitch the other way. Back-to-back singles open up inning number 7. And Elvis Andrus coming up.
Nomar's had some good at-bats in this game, and he's hit off-speed pitches every time. First time up, he had a hard changeup, a hard ground ball off a changeup to second base. He hit one deep for an out the second time up, and that time he waits on what looked like a hanging slider and lined it into left field.
So with nobody out now, Rangers have runners at 1st and 2nd. Elvis Andrus, the number 8 hitter, is up. And as we look down into the on-deck circle, already a pinch-hitting possibility for the Rangers looming. Jurickson Profar has grabbed a bat. So you might look for the sacrifice from Elvis here. Elvis a base hit in 2 trips. Average at 296. Suarez, the third baseman, going through a series of signs defensively, letting the other infielders know what the plan is. 1st and 2nd bunt defense, always filled with multiple possibilities, and each club's a little bit different in how they want to attack the bunt defense. Some will immediately go with the wheel play, where they'll vacate the middle of the diamond for 1 pitch and then try a pickoff at 2nd, all kinds of variations. 1 ball, no strikes. See the shortstop Peraza playing right behind, and Elvis bunts that foul to make it 1-1.
Iglesias is not afraid to drop down and pop that 96-mile-an-hour fastball at you either.
Look on Elvis's face telling you that wasn't really a welcome addition.
That wasn't much fun. I had one thing wrong with Billy Hamilton, Buzz. He was going 22 miles an hour to catch that ball off Carlos Beltran.
Oh.
Not on the bunt. I think he was going faster than that on the bunt.
1-1.
96 on a fastball and then a slider on the outside corner.
1-2.
Remember what you said? It's not that easy to bunt.
Yeah. Especially when it's coming from over there.
Yeah, that's where your rear end's going the wrong way. You got the bat out there, but something's telling you better get out of the way of this one. Whoops.
Now Iglesias ready one more time.
Take two and hit to right.
2-2. If he keeps that slider out there, it's okay. You can get a good look at that one. Runners in scoring position this year, Elvis, 4th best in the American League at .378 average. He's got Mitch Moreland carrying the tying run out there at second. Omar Mazara trailing him at first. Nobody out here in the Rangers 7th. Pulled to Suarez, steps on third, goes to second, the ball gets away. Now Mazara thought about trying to advance, but stays right there. Suarez had ideas of having a triple play going around the horn. If he'd made a good throw to Phillips, they might have had a shot at it.
Well, Elvis just continues to hit the ball well. He hit that ball sharply, one hop. Nice play by Suarez, not a very nice throw. Almost looked like he threw it before he stepped on the bag.
So 1 out. Now Jurickson Profar, the pinch hitter. And he has been a pinch hitter extraordinaire for the Rangers this year. Inside, it gets away from Barnhart all the way to the backstop.
Oh, there's the sacrifice bunt.
There you go.
Just pretend Elvis got the bunt down.
All it did was cost Elvis an at bat.
Yeah.
And it still works.
Breaking ball that Barnhart wasn't quite able to get to.
Well, the wild pitch as it scored, moving the runners up 90 feet. So Mazara now at third. Elvis Andrus at second. The Reds will play the infield back with 1 out. Profar, a .259 average, 18 RBI this year, 5 home runs. That slider catches the inside corner. Jurickson, as a pinch hitter this year, is 3 for 8 with 4 runs driven in. He has the most pinch hit RBI of anybody on the Ranger club. Rangers, of course, don't pinch hit nearly as much as National League clubs do. That's in the dirt. Nice stop by Barnhart that time. 2-1. Barnhart was going to make sure he got all of his body in front of that thing. Now Jurickson back in, hitting from the left side of the plate. This is his stronger side statistically. 285 as a left-handed hitter, 197 from the right side. Tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. Had a good cut at that fastball and fouls it straight back. 2-2. Outfield playing full Profar, as you can see, just about straight away. Center fielder Billy Hamilton just one step to the right of second base. Reaching for it, that slider is popped foul, and the count remains even. Jurickson overall of late struggling a bit. He's just 2 for 10 on this road trip. But in interleague play, he's been a .319 hitter this year. He had that big pinch hit RBI single against the Cardinals earlier in the year. It was in St. Louis. Trying to repeat against the Reds. Out of these shoot tops.
That's the one to lay off. That's not easy to lay off that pitch in this situation. You're anxious, try to do something to get a run in here. You want to swing, and you got to lay off that pitch. He did. He was thinking about it, but he stopped in time.
That was almost literally the back foot breaking ball.
Yeah.
So a full count. First base is open. Profar pinch hitting for the pitcher spot. Top of the order will follow. Payoff pitch. Outside corner call, strike 3. The backdoor hook. Profar caught looking.
It looked like it was outside, but he got the call with it. He's trying to throw it inside, and it kind of hung outside. Well, that's a tough strike. You see where the guy had his glove. The guy missed the glove by 1.5 feet, and catcher tries to catch the ball and bring it back toward the strike zone, and you still get the call.
2 away. And it'll be up to Ian Desmond now. They're going to work to him with runners at second and third. Desmond 0 for 3 tonight. A pop out, a fly out, and a ground out. 0-1. Derek Holland finished for this evening after 6 very solid innings. Gave up just the 1 run on 4 hits. He is still the pitcher of record. If the Rangers can come back to take the lead. 0-2. Ian Desmond in these situations 6 for his last 18 with runners in scoring position. He's tied for first in Major League Baseball with 7 go-ahead RBI, the 7th inning on. Chance to add to that here. Got him swinging. Tough sliders down and away, and that'll do it. Rangers get 2 hits and strand 2. We'll take the stretch at Great American Ballpark. Reds leading the Rangers 1-0. The Rangers schedule in the near future will finish up here tomorrow night. Final game of this 2-game series. Then back home. A 10-game, 11-day homestand. Got Cleveland for 4. The Seattle Mariners come in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's red out at Globe Life Park. Make sure and wear your red out and come on out to support your Rangers. Off day on the 1st of September. Then the Houston Astros come in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th before the Rangers begin a 10-game road trip. Well, Jeremy Jeffress has come out of the Ranger bullpen to take over here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jeffress is 56th appearance overall. Last time we saw Jeremy was on Saturday in Tampa Bay. Worked an inning of shutout baseball. On here to face Phillips, Schebler, and Suarez.
When you see a swing like that, that's just a case of a hitter was guessing it was going to be a fastball, was getting geared up to hit it, so much so that he just wasn't able to stop his swing once he realized it wasn't a fastball. Now, if he got a fastball, he might have been right on it. So that's a risk a hitter's willing to take.
And that is a swinging strike 2. Brandon Phillips has had a wave and then a check swing, and
now what?
Not real good so far. Phillips tonight 1 for 2, had that double back in the 4th inning. 285 average for the Reds second baseman. Jeffress with the 0-2. Got him right on the fist. Mitch, a long throw to Jeffress covering, and they get the out. So 1 away. Schebler coming up before we see Scott Schebler. Let's send it back to Rick Renner for a Chevy game break. All right, Rick, thank you. Scott Schebler is grounded to second, grounded to short. He checked his swing, and it's a strike anyway. Jeffress and the Reds certainly know each other pretty well. Jeremy spending the time with the Milwaukee Brewers as their closer and setup man. This for Jeffress is 8th appearance. I make that his 9th appearance as a Ranger. He's had 4 walks, 6 strikeouts in his 8 innings of work coming into play tonight. A ball and a strike. Rangers in the overshift against Schebler. We'll get Odor out in the rover position in shallow right. 2-2. Jeffress on in relief of Derek Holland. Holland, as we mentioned, 6 innings. Good start for the left-hander. Nice to see him back in order. 4 hits, 1 run. The 1 walk he gave up came around to score. He walked the pinch hitter Tyler Holt leading off the 6th inning. And Joey Votto brought him home with a 2-out single. 5 strikeouts for Holland. Still 2-2. Out of just over 16,500 tonight at Great American Ballpark. 16,668. Very pleasant evening. Temperatures in the mid-70s, low to mid-70s at this juncture. Been very little breeze at all. Look at the camera well down just past the Reds dugout, and people ducking for cover. Jeffress ready to go once again. That's out to Odor in shallow right. And the long throw gets him 2 gone. A couple ground balls, and it's the stock and trade of Jeremy Jeffress, that turbo sinker that gets guys beating that thing into the ground. Eugenio Suarez up for his 3rd at bat. Suarez tonight has struck out and fly to left field.
I don't know if you happened to read it today, Buzz. Did you see T.R. Sullivan's article about Jeremy that he wrote?
I did not. No, I did not today.
It was a great article on MLB.com. Or maybe it's TexasRangers.com. I'm not sure which one, but talked about overcoming the epilepsy that he's had. And the anxiety that he has to deal with on a daily basis and how he's done that. And it was very open and honest discussion between Jeremy and T.R. Sullivan. Highly suggested. Very, very good reading.
I will make sure and read that this evening.
Yeah, it was very good.
But, you know, we don't often think about the role model that players can be from the standpoint of battling an illness.
Sure.
Unless it's, you know, something drastic, but something like that. And Jeremy being open about it, I'm sure there are a lot of people around that say, yeah, that a boy. Thank you very much for standing up and saying that, because I'm battling the same thing.
Sure.
It gives a lot of folks courage and hope that they can do exactly what Jeremy's doing. Now all they have to do is develop a good sinker and then get the whole package. Jeffress now has fallen behind 3-1 to Suarez. Suarez, the number 7 hitter, to be followed by the catcher, Tucker Barnhart. Jeffress ready, and back to the plate. 3-2. Rangers in an overshift the other way with the right-handed hitting Suarez at the plate. Rougned Odor lining up on the shortstop side at second. Elvis deep in the hole. Outfield pretty much straight away. Three and two with 2 out. Lost him. Well, Suarez takes the 2-out walk. Now Barnhart coming up. Barnhart tonight has flied to right field and lined to short.
It's TexasRangers.com, Buzz, for that.
Okay.
Anyone that's interested in that article about Jeremy by T.R. Sullivan.
Jeffress' first pitch is a little bit inside for ball 1. Barnhart 0 for 1 in previous matchups against Jeremy Jeffress. And the right-hander set at the belt. 2-0. And Jonathan Lucroy going to go out and have a chat with Jeffress and get him back into the strike zone.
In that article, there were some nice quotes from Jonathan Lucroy. They came up together in the minor league system with the Milwaukee Brewers and remained very good friends. Very happy to come over here together in that trade.
Lucroy given the sign. The 2-0 pitch is on the way to the gap in right center. That is going to plug the alley and head toward the wall. Playing the carom is Desmond. Steaming around third is Suarez. Here comes the throw to the plate. Is cut off. And now they've got Barnhart out at third, but not before the run scores. So a 2-out double by Tucker Barnhart drives home a run, and we have played 7 innings with the Reds now leading 2-0 over your Texas Rangers.
Their final 2 at-bats find themselves in a 2-0 hole here at Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati, Ohio. This is another one of those strange 2-game series, and game 2 of this set is right here tomorrow. Same time, same station. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Rangers, and look at his numbers in the last 3 starts. Hey, perhaps not coincidentally, a lot of that work has been done with Jonathan Lucroy. Adam Duvall, meantime, awfully good with leading this Cincinnati Reds team, one of the leaders on the team. AT&T high-speed internet reminds you we are on the air tomorrow night a little early, 5:30 for Rangers Live. First pitch sometime just after 6 o'clock tomorrow night, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Carlos Beltran leading off the Ranger 8th is Raizel Iglesias. Beltran robbed by a great diving catch by Billy Hamilton his last time up. And Votto is going to cut this ball off and underhand to Iglesias for out number 1. We'll take you back to that high-speed internet from AT&T, the replay, and look at this play. This is the 6th inning, a leadoff gapper, and Hamilton came from the next county over to run this thing down.
That's the one he was going 22 miles an hour after.
What a play that was.
We say it a lot that the guy just outran that one. He literally did outrun that ball.
Yeah, he ran the flight of the ball and the slice on the ball, too.
Yeah.
That ball was slicing away from him.
Yeah, it sure was.
A 1 out after Beltran grounded out. Now Adrian Beltre, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. From the extreme side angle. Matt Bush loosening in the Rangers bullpen. That is a nasty slider. I would say, with a caveat, if you haven't seen it before, I'm not so sure if you've seen it before it makes much difference.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Because he's got that 96-mile-an-hour fastball to go along with it. And he can drop down a little bit.
Like that one?
Yeah.
2 gone. Ooh. That'll coming from down there, that'll test your constitution, I would think, as a right-handed hitter.
Yep.
Now 2 away on a couple of ground balls. Now Rougned Odor, who is 1 for 3, will step in. Odor had a 4th inning single. Other than that, is flied out and struck out. Iglesias taking something off that and got that must be his changeup at 88. You know what that is? It's that hammer of a slider. 0-2. Call, strike 3. Rougned didn't think so. Tough one to have called a strike, but it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. 7.5 in the books. 2-0 Reds. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. A beautiful night here on the banks of the Ohio River. Cincinnati, Ohio, the Queen City, and Matt Bush out of the Ranger bullpen now. Becomes the third pitcher used by Jeff Bannister this evening. Matt appearing in his 41st game, 5-2 with a 2.83 ERA. The league hitting just .216 against him. And he will deal to Tyler Holt leading off here in the 8th inning. Holt entered as a pinch hitter in the 6th. Led off with a walk against Derek Holland, the only walk that Holland would allow tonight. And Holt eventually came around to score on Joey Votto's 2-out single to break a scoreless deadline. 0-1 pitch.
Yeah, the Rangers have only walked 2 batters in the game. Unfortunately, they both scored. The leadoff walk you just mentioned, and then the 2-out walk to Suarez right before Barnhart's double.
Matt Bush, the 30-year-old rookie, coming back with the 0-2 pitch. Last time we saw Matt was the last game against Oakland prior to going to Tampa Bay. Matt worked an inning with 3 strikeouts against the A's on the 17th. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
I'd say after those 4 98-mile-an-hour fastballs, he might be a little susceptible to the slider, cutter, or the curveball down and away. Just guessing.
Yeah. Let's see if that's the thought that.
I like the way Matt's kind of studying him as he gets in the box.
Yeah, there's the little cutter slider slash. See how that works.
Oh, nice job. Didn't even think about swinging at it.
Might have been one of those, I can't hit it anyway, I'm not going to swing at it. Normally you'd see a guy flinch or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a flinch.
Took that like he knew it was coming.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Now 3-2. Now Holt in that number 9 slot in the order. Billy Hamilton, the leadoff man, is in the on-deck circle. Matt Bush sets, and the payoff pitch. Lost him. Holt did a pretty nice job from coming back down 0-2 to garner the leadoff walk. And now Jonathan Lucroy going to go out and kind of calm things down with Matt Bush.
Yeah, he got ahead of him, and Holt never really sniffed that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Then it looked like he just tried to make a perfect pitch on the next 4 pitches, and they weren't close enough to tempt Holt to swing at him.
Tony Cingrani, the closer for the Reds. Only left-hander they have in the bullpen. He's down there loosening up. Well, Hamilton now will flip around to hit from the left side of the plate against Matt Bush. Last time up, Hamilton out on a sacrifice bunt, but it took a replay to judge him out. He was ruled safe on the field, but Jeff Bannister and company issued the challenge on the replay, and on replay it was overturned. So Hamilton officially tonight 0-2. Adrian Beltre creeping down the line from third. Hamilton waiting. Now Matt Bush ready. Hamilton, .279 average as a left-handed hitter. He's not showing bunt there. Down to the count now, 0-2. Billy Hamilton, .223 as a right-hander and .279 as a left-handed swinger. Now Beltre backs up just short of the cut of the grass. Still need to play in a little bit to respect the speed of Hamilton. Out of play to the left. You know, Tom, you're talking about Hamilton becoming a pretty good hitter, and that's one of the things right there that I think has made him a pretty good hitter, that ability to slap the ball around with his speed. And you know, you try to get, I think, young switch hitters, especially from the left side of the plate, to learn how to slap the ball, not be a Willie Mays Hayes kind of thing where he's hit fly balls all the time.
Yeah, the worst thing he can do is hit a fly ball.
He's gotten pretty proficient at that, keeping the ball on the ground. Got him swinging. Well, Matt Bush able to climb the ladder, and Hamilton didn't have one quite that tall. Just a little bit high. Noel was in to say something to Matt Bush. Jose Peraza, the shortstop. Now stepping in, Peraza, a base hit in 3 trips. Matt, a look over his left shoulder. Matt Holt at first. Up the middle, that's going to make its way into center field for a base hit. Holt around second on his way to third. He is in with a slide. And the Reds now runners at first and third with 1 out, and Joey Votto coming up.
Oh, looks like he can run. Good base runner. He knew he was going to third base on that ball. And he scored on the extra base hit by Suarez last inning easily. He knows he's going, wants to throw him out, but didn't have a chance to. Cut that corner and got there quickly.
Yeah, Doug Rocaille out to have a chat with his battery.
I should say that extra base hit by Barnhart in the last inning.
Then again, a situation where the hottest hitter on the Red staff, maybe on the planet, is at the plate. Joey Votto. You have a base open, but it's second base. You're already down by 2. I don't think that really becomes a consideration with a guy like Votto up there. You don't want him to do any further damage here. You might just pitch very carefully to him, or even put him on. Got the pitcher's spot due next. Ivan DeJesus has come out as a pinch hitter. First things first, though, it's Votto and Bush. Votto 2 for 3 tonight, a pair of singles. He has driven in a run. Outside corner, Matt gets the call.
I don't think Joey Votto has that pitch called very often now.
You mentioned Bob Davidson, lenient every once in a while toward the pitcher. He's a big advocate of that first pitch strike.
He knew that wasn't a strike, and he didn't argue either.
0-2. Well, Matt now with the advantage in the count. Time for a quality pitch to Votto. Got Holt at third, Peraza at first. It's about as defensive a swing as you're going to see Joey Votto take.
Yeah, he's just hanging in there on that one.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. Rangers at double play depth. They are straight away on the infield. Outfield fairly deep and maybe a step toward left center. And Ian Desmond. Runner on the move at first, and the pitch is in the dirt, and no throw to second. As Peraza gets his second stolen base of the night, his 12th of the year. What Jonathan Lucroy could do. Peraza had a good jump, and he also picked the right pitch, that breaking ball that was down low. So now, Ranger infield pulled all the way in, and Jonathan Lucroy going to go out and talk things over with Matt Bush. This changes things a little bit. Although if the original idea was to pitch carefully to Votto, it shouldn't have changed no matter where the open base was. Ranger defense at the cut of the grass all the way around. One ball and 2 strikes. To left field. Going back on it, Mazzara has the play. Tagging at third is Holt. He will score. Joey Votto with his second RBI of the night makes it a 3-0 Cincinnati lead.
Well, all 3 runs have been scored by a man who walked. Votto, he's saying to himself, I don't care what happens in this bet, I'm not going to strike out. I'm not trying to drive the ball, I'm just trying to make some contact. And that's exactly what he did. Had a man on third, less than 2 outs, and got the run in.
Yep.
Name of the game.
No, 2 outs now. Ivan DeJesus Jr. is up there. He is pinch hitting for Iglesias, the pitcher. DeJesus, a .235 hitter, a home run, 18 driven in. Breaking ball finds the mark. It is 1-1. Matt Bush trying to put a cap on this inning. Reds have scored 1. They have a run at second base. And 1-2 now the count. Jesus 7 for 23 as a pinch hitter. 3 RBIs. You can see one of those 7 a double. Now the 1-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Bob Davidson ringing it up, and that'll do it. But Reds add on a run. They have scored single runs in each of the last 3 innings. We go to the 9th, 3-0 Cincinnati. the ninth inning. Jonathan Lucroy to start things off. The Rangers trailing at 3-0, and Tony Cingrani has come out of the Reds bullpen. He is their closer. Cingrani, a 27-year-old, appearing in his 55th ball game of the year. He is 15 out of 20 in save opportunities this year. 2-4 record. The league hitting just .216 against him. He has struck out 38 in his 52 1/3 innings of work. Now Cingrani will face Lucroy, Moreland, and Mazzara. First three to do the swinging here in the ninth inning. Rangers have been held to 5 hits tonight. Lucroy 0 for 3. Struck out, popped out, lined out. 1 ball, no strikes. There is a strike. Oh, excuse me, 2-0. Didn't call it a strike. Lucroy, 2 out of 7 against Cingrani. Also had a walk mixed in there. Trying to get aboard. Rangers need some base runners here in the ninth inning. 2-1. Cingrani converted from being a starter full-time back in 2014. Went to the bullpen last year. And this year, of course, the final piece in that bullpen as far as Brian Price is concerned. He has fallen behind Lucroy, though. 3 balls and a strike. Jonathan trying to get aboard to start this ninth inning off. Mitch Moreland is swinging a bat in that on-deck circle. 3-2. Rush that ball up there to the plate, as that 96 will tell you. Cingrani played part of his collegiate career down at Rice University. Payoff pitch on the way. Lost him. Lucroy draws the leadoff walk. We'll see if the Rangers can capitalize on that here in the ninth inning. Folks, a reminder to follow Rangers Baseball live with MLB.com at Bat app. You can stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day and live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and a bunch more. Download MLB.com at Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Moreland has walked and singled in 3 trips to the plate, 1 out of 2 officially. Ball 1.
Well, Cingrani coming in had walked 28 in 52 innings, so his walk total's pretty high for a closer.
Boy, he almost picked Lucroy clean at first.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
You get picked off right there. You want to press the trap door. And go back to the clubhouse by way of underground tunnel, so you don't have to run across the field.
Or just go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Get your clothes tomorrow. 1-1 to Mitch. Now Cingrani, if you're thinking about it, hasn't had a blown save since back in the first week of June, June 7th of this year. Moreland drives one to left. That sends Holt back, but he has room. Lucroy back to first. That is out number 1. And Nomar Mazzara, the scheduled hitter, but Delino DeShields has grabbed the bat. He is coming to the plate. Well, the Rangers in this series, with the National League rules, when the pitcher hitting, have a 5-man bench. So it's a little bit easier to mix and match late in the ball games. Guys coming off the bench. Delino, a .230 average, 4 home runs, 11 driven in. Nothing in 1. Interesting reading some of the Cincinnati Enquirer's quotes from Delino to Shields, who happens to be his father, managing down at Louisville, AAA for the Reds. Pick it up and says Delino to Shields says, and I said, well, what Delino talking about these guys about? I had to read a little bit further. He said, yeah, the skipper down there. Delino Sr. has been in the Red system for a number of years as their manager. 0-2 here. Now the southpaw Cingrani back to the plate. Still 1-2. Delino trying to keep things going here for the Rangers. Get some folks on, get to the middle of the order. If you can, turn that lineup over. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is Delino's first pinch hitting at bat of the year. Now the 2-2. Having a tough at bat. Not making it easy on Cingrani. Tall, angular left-hander, Tony Cingrani. He's 6'4", about 205 pounds or so. And back to the plate he comes. Behind the bag at third, Suarez to second, back to first, not in time. Boy, nice play by Suarez.
Now, Suarez has pretty good actions at third base. It came up as a shortstop, so that shouldn't be a problem for him playing third base. That time he made an accurate throw to second base.
Yep.
Last time he had an opportunity, he bounced it.
So 2 outs now. Delino to Shields, a runner at first. Here's Elvis. Andrus 1 for 3. His single was back in the 3rd inning. It was the first Ranger hit of the night. Delino's going to take second on defensive indifference. Trailing 3-0. Delino will still take the extra 90 feet. 2 balls, no strikes. Cingrani okays the sign. And misses wide. 3-0. So the Rangers just 1 ball outside the strike zone from bringing the tying run to home plate. We look down into the on-deck circle. Ryan Rua has grabbed that bat. He certainly has the ability to knock one out of the ballpark. He's going to get that chance here as Elvis Andrus draws the 4-pitch walk. Ryan Rua coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. Rua this year 0 for 5 in pinch hitting roles, but he has had very good success this year against left-handed pitching. He represents the tying run in this ball game. Pounded that one right down off his left foot. 0-1. Rua this year a .307 hitter against left-handers. is going to be sore for a while. Maybe until Thanksgiving.
Hopefully he gets sore as he trots around the bases. He has to limp.
Kirk Gibson.
Yeah.
Get up the middle. Bounce. Get in there. And Rua thrown out by Peraza, and that will do it. Thought he had a little more on that, but the Rangers shut out tonight by the Reds. The trio of Straley, Iglesias, and Cingrani blanked the Rangers on just 5 base hits tonight as the Reds send the Rangers down to the 3rd consecutive loss. So 3-0 the final here at Great American Ballpark. We'll be back with more after this break on Fox Sports Southwest.